Chris Paul gets the start at the point, Fran, over Darren Williams. What effect does that have?
I talked to the Team USA coaching staff this morning, and they're going to really try to get after Calderon in the backcourt. They think Paul's pressure could get them started.
Bryant, James, Durant, and Tyson Chandler again with the start in the middle. Meanwhile, for Spain, the aforementioned Jose Calderon of the Raptors, Navarro, Fernandez, Gasol, and Ibaka. Marc Gasol not starting, Fran.
Well, he injured his left shoulder in a game against Australia about 2 weeks ago, but he's warming up, and wouldn't be surprised if he plays. He has not played in a week, but in this type of game, if he's not ready to go, they'll save him for London.
A lot of different NBA connections on this Spain team. Pau, a two-time NBA champ. Marc, a first-time All-Star with the Memphis Grizzlies. Jose Calderon with one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the NBA. And Rudy Fernandez, a three-point assassin, as well as Juan Carlos Navarro. And hey, Serge Ibaka was all first-team defensive.
Now, you don't have guys that are just in the league. These guys are accomplished NBA players.
Chris Paul, also a member of the NBA All-Star cast of players that are on the court tonight here in Palau Saint-Jordi. The United States coming off a 6-point narrow victory against Argentina. See what kind of effect it has on their psyche against Spain. The Spaniards, meanwhile, coming off a blowout victory against those same Argentina players. So we are ready for the tip and underway here in Spain. Calderon will walk it up court for Spain.
Mark, early in games, they've gone to Pau Gasol on the right block. Let's see if they establish him early.
LeBron James guarding Ibaka. Good pressure on the wing. Durant guarding Rudy. One on the shot clock. Now a reset. There was a reset on the shot clock. The first shot is an air ball.
A good solid defense by Team USA. They'll do a lot of switching, I believe.
Chris Paul behind that Tyson Chandler screen knocks down the three. The United States shot 38% from downtown in the last game against Argentina.
Well, the other thing you saw right there is Pau and Marc Gasol are not particularly good pick and roll defenders, and Chris Paul took advantage of the defender going under that screen.
There's Pau Gasol. A whistle and a foul going to be called against Tyson Chandler. How important for him to stay in the game today, Frank?
Well, it's critical, and keep in mind that you only get 5 team fouls. He's picked up a quick one, but that's where Pau Gasol wants to do his work, on that right block, Mark. Team USA will throw a number of different defenses at him today. If you're Spain, you go right back at Gasol.
Pau was the leading scorer against Argentina. He knocks down the three-pointer, a shot that he's been taking a lot more frequently back in the NBA, and we're tied at 3. All up court, guarded by Calderon.
See, they're choosing to go under Chris Paul on those screens so Gasol can stay home.
Paul lobbed it up. Chandler couldn't get there, and back comes Navarro. Navarro had it knocked away by Kobe Bryant. Going to be interesting to see a lot of gamesmanship as both teams talked about how much respective effort would be put into this one, Fran.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Mark, that even though this is a quote friendly match, that both teams understand what's at stake. Many of these Spanish players, Navarro, the Gasols, they come from Barcelona, so they're playing in front of their home folk today.
Calderon especially saying, hey, of course we're going to win. We're playing in front of our home fans, and at some point we'll see what it's like coming down to stretch. Kobe once again almost comes up with a steal. Fernandez shoots a brick.
Boy, switch there by Coach K. He put LeBron James on Pau Gasol so that Chandler wouldn't pick up a second quick foul.
LeBron James just missing. Still tied at 3. Calderon back the other way. Lobs it up for Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka gets it to go. Serge Ibaka, born in the Republic of Congo, Fran, but how does he end up playing for the Spanish team?
FIBA allows you to have one naturalized citizen on your roster. The Spanish Basketball Federation chose Ibaka. He played with them in the Eurobasket Championships last year.
Here's Durant. Tyson Chandler traveled with it. Well, Serge Ibaka was first team All-NBA defensive team this year. He had maybe his best season ever in the National Basketball Association.
What you love about this guy, he's only 23 years old, so You know, you talk about Sam Presti and the Thunder and the job they've done with drafting guys. They got this guy in the 20s. He was not a lottery pick.
Interesting little nugget, Fran. Kendrick Perkins, who recently underwent surgery, is the only OKC starter not in the building tonight. When you look at Durant and Ibaka and Russell Westbrook going to be coming off the bench, as well as James Harden, who actually is a sixth man. We'll cheat it for international basketball purposes. Here's Gasol wide open from the free throw line. They're going to have to cover him. He can knock that down.
Chandler had the help on the back cut, and that left Gasol open at the foul line.
Since the 3-0 start by the United States, a 7-0 run by Spain. Here's Kobe. And that's going to be a foul against Ibaka. And Pau Gasol meets Kobe. Two Laker teammates share a moment right there. And Kobe was very outspoken with the Spanish media talking about his affinity for Pau Gasol, who he considers a little brother. He says, hey, Pau's going to be a Laker as long as I'm a Laker.
Team USA right now trying to go lots of pick and roll to get Gasol and Ibaka away from the basket. There you see it again.
There's the switch. LeBron settles for the three. And the United States a little bit stagnant that time on offense, Fran.
I think the key for Team USA is you cannot just rely on contested jump shots.
JC Navarro from downtown. Navarro shot the three ball very well in his only season with the Memphis Grizzlies. Actually set a franchise record for threes.
One thing everybody knows about Navarro is he's a big game player, Mark.
That's the fourth turnover already by the United States. LeBron James and Serge Ibaka getting physical underneath. That rivalry going back to the NBA Finals when Ibaka, albeit probably some people feel, got lost in the translation when he felt that LeBron wasn't a great defender. Chris Paul getting the charges together.
Watch a little bump inside. Is that Kobe or is that Chandler? Because if it's Chandler, it's two.
Seven-point lead for the Spaniards. United States still looking to up the tempo a little bit, and they'll get it here with LeBron making the steal.
Now they're going to call Kobe for a travel. Remember, the way international rules are, you got to put that ball down on the floor right away. Take a look right here. You see Kobe, that's a good call. That's 3 or 4 steps. Team USA has gotten away with that at times during this tournament. It's not easy for them to adjust to that particular rule in transition.
Carmelo Anthony came in a moment ago for Tyson Chandler, who committed his second personal foul. The scene now really not new for the United States. They trailed Brazil at the end of the first quarter back in D.C. a few games ago.
I think what you got to do, Mark, is you've got to spread the floor. And I think LeBron has got to be the guy that has the ball in his hands, coming off those screens.
Haven't seen a lot of that so far. That's their first points in almost 4 minutes. Calderon inside to Ibaka. And Ibaka gets the layup to go off over LeBron.
I know there's some thought in the NBA that Jose Calderon doesn't guard particularly well, but he is a very, very effective playmaker.
Carmelo inside, had it knocked away. Kobe on the baseline, around Pau. Tough shot by Kobe. Well defended by Gasol, his Laker teammate. Rudy with the three. And rebounded by the United States. Here's Chris Paul. This is the way they've got to play. Paul on the break. And the jumper good by Carmelo Anthony.
I think that's important that you turn defensive rebounds and steals into transition opportunities. That time Chris Paul did a great job of pushing that ball deep into the lane.
Now LeBron is guarding Gasol inside. Ibaka lets the jumper fly and knocks it down over Carmelo Anthony. Serge Ibaka moved to Spain as a teenager. Averaged 9 and 7 this year for the OKC Thunder. Here's LeBron on the move. And that's going to be a goaltending call.
See, I think that's exactly how LeBron's got to play. Use the size, use the speed, get to the rim.
On that crew.
How about Marc Gasol chiming in today, saying that the original Dream Team would beat this team by 15 or 20.
On a bad day.
And he was 7 years old. How would he know?
When you talk about the effect of that original Dream Team, Pau Gasol talks frequently of the fact that he was a youngster, about 12, 13 years old, and it was that Dream Team that inspired him to play basketball. That's going to be a foul against LeBron James. That's his first personal foul. Fran, if you remember back to these two teams playing in 08, both LeBron and Kobe had to sit large portions of the first half because of foul trouble.
And that's that's one of the things that's really a bugaboo for Team USA moving into the Olympics, because take a look here as he's trying to front Pau Gasol now. And there you see, he reaches out, pulls Pau down. A little acting job by Pau, he understands, but no, you're absolutely right. 5 personal fouls means you got to play it like a college coach if you're Coach K. Sit a guy down with 2 in the first half.
Calderon inside, nice pass to Serge Ibaka.
Calderon is a surgeon. I'm telling you, a guy averaged 9 assists a game this year for the Toronto Raptors. Take a look as he gets deep, draws Durant. Ibaka the recipient.
Ibaka with 8 points in the ball game already, off to a good start against his OKC teammate Kevin Durant, and now Russell Westbrook in the ball game. Carmelo inside, had it rejected, got the second one back, and that's going to be good on the goaltending charge. A 3-point ball game now. Hey, Carmelo Anthony has gotten his offensive groove going a little bit here, Fran.
Well, there have been times, Mark, since 2006 that Carmelo Anthony has been as effective. There's the dish inside by Calderon, but has been as effective offensively as any Team USA member, because he's got that combination of being able to score inside and shoot the jump shot and create his own shot.
Let's see what Spain can do with Pau Gasol getting a breather on the bench. Another nice dime by Calderon to Ibaka.
We saw this at times against Argentina and Brazil. Weak side defense versus opponents for Team USA, not their forte right now.
Spain shooting a sizzling 8 of 11 from the field against the United States. Westbrook on the drive, had it partially blocked by his teammate Ibaka. And Spain leads this by 5. Spain had 2 very close friendlies prior to this game against the United States. A couple of 6-point wins against Australia and only a 4-point win against Great Britain. But one thing about the United States, Fran, they're going to get everybody's A game.
Well, there's no question about it. Look at this. Ibaka right now is dominating. You can see there's no white shirts coming from the weak side, Mark, and partially because you've got to account for Spain's shooters.
Westbrook seemed like he was tripped up and ended up traveling on the play. Ibaka 6 of 6 from the field. As we look at the upcoming schedule for the United States, they'll play France in their opener in Pool A. Fran, how do you handicap this pool?
Well, obviously, they're going to have 2 walkovers in Tunisia and Nigeria. The top 4 teams in Pool A advance to the quarterfinals. Argentina and France likely to be the teams that give Team USA the most trouble in pool play.
Calderon getting a breather.
One of my favorites, Victor Sada, in the game now for Coach Scariolo.
Sada made one too many pass. Gets it back and knocks down another 3. It's a 10-point lead, actually a long 2. And a 9-point lead for Spain with 1:48 to go here in the first quarter. Houston or New Orleans.
I think Steve Nash's acquisition will change the dynamic of that Laker team this year. Pau averaged 17 and 11, and people said he had a down year.
See what the United States runs coming out of this timeout. More pick and roll. Darren Williams with the long 3 comes up short.
See, I just don't think early in the shot clock you necessarily need that contested shot.
Williams squeezes through and 1. And Darren Williams will go to the free throw line, try and complete.
Mark, even when you have great outside shooting, you've got to play the game in attack mode. That time Williams gets all the way to the rim. But if you effectively drive the paint, you're going to open up perimeter shots for your teammates. Team USA has settled for jump shots. They've got to play in terms of attacking the paint off the dribble.
That foul against Victor Sada. Of course, you remember Darren Williams played for Besiktas. I want to say, Fran, is that the way you pronounce it? You're the expert.
Besiktas.
Bless you. Played in Turkey during the NBA lockout, and still has a lot of affection for his European basketball roots. 1:15 to go here in the first quarter. Spain with an early lead.
Right now you got Yule and Sada out there, so if you're Team USA, you want to try to get after those guards.
Serge Ibaka might have forced that one up a little bit. Thrown up, and that's going to go to Andre Iguodala. Carmelo, lethal in the half court as a scorer. Carmelo Anthony already with 10 points, Fran.
You got an idea of what makes him so effective because he can create his own shot, shoot the ball, score at the rim. There's an illegal screen by Reyes.
Fran, so far, how much has the United States been able to pressure and speed up Spain, which is a big part of their game plan?
Not as much as they need to, but I didn't think they really could do that, that good a job. You're talking about Calderon and Navarro, Mark. Navarro's playing in his 200th game for the Spanish national team. These guys have seen it all. They've also played at a level where they can handle the pressure that a Chris Paul or Darren Williams can throw at you.
Kevin Love is in the ball game for the United States. Love hasn't gotten a lot of playing time, hasn't found his rhythm yet with this USA basketball team. That's going to be a 3-point foul on Felipe Reyes, sending Darren Williams actually a long two. Our vantage point.
Reyes' second foul, which is going to likely put him on the bench. We haven't seen Marc Gasol today, and I think Coach Scariolo, we've been this deep into the first quarter, just wonder if he's going to save him for London with that shoulder injury.
Folks, get your official USA basketball team gear now at NBAstore.com. Choose from jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and a lot more. NBAstore.com, your official destination of all things basketball. The movement on that line. And they're going to count the bucket.
That's one thing about free throw. Do not ask me to explain what the heck is going on in the free throw line. These would be violations.
Yeah,
it's an NBA.
It's an international negotiation at that point. Foul's going to go against Darren Williams. That's his first personal foul. Remember, in FIBA, on the 5th foul, you shoot 2 shots. 5th foul in the period.
Victor Sada, a young guy that plays for Barcelona. I had a chance to coach him at the Reebok Euro camp, and I said to you during the break, my favorite Euro camper of all time. The guy played his heart out every single second of the camp. Right now he's in tense negotiations with FC Barcelona. There's some question as to whether he'll stay or not with the Regal FC Barcelona this year, and he's a Barcelona guy. Grew up wanting to play for the hometown team.
One of the real storied franchises in Spain. A country with a rich basketball history. Going back to the first Spaniard that came to the NBA, Fernando Martin. Rudy Fernandez actually wore his jersey All-Star Weekend a couple of years ago in the slam dunk contest. There's Rudy back there sporting a neatly coiffed dome. And the lead is up to 4. Serge Ibaka getting a well-deserved rest.
That means Victor Claver in the game for Spain. He'll join the Portland Trailblazers this year.
Mismatch as Westbrook gets the layup to go on that shot over Claver. And it's down to a 2-point lead for Spain. The launch is no good. After a slow start, the United States ending the first quarter on an 8-1 run. Nights aglow in the city BO, the Minnesota Timberwolves courtside, and a little tweet that he sent out. Kevin Love, are you ready to lose against Spain tonight? Always nice when you have teammates talking a little bit of trash prior to games.
They were hugging each other during the warm-ups. Ricky coming back from ACL surgery.
Rubio recovering nicely and ahead of schedule. Bucket on the play by Claver, who'll be joining the Portland Trailblazers in a couple of months.
He was drafted in the first round in 2009. He's played in Valencia his entire career. That's actually his hometown. He's a stretch 4-man.
Carmelo finally missing after consecutive makes. Spain up by 4. Andre Iguodala guarding the ball, and that's going to be a whistle and a foul. An offensive foul against Spain. You know, I know on the internet there was a lot of buzz from Spaniard basketball fans that United States players traveled a lot in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Conversely, you could argue there are a lot of illegal screens set by the Spaniards in that gold medal game.
Exactly, and FIBA basketball. Well, we've already chronicled how physical the game is.
Westbrook underneath. We see the United States are struggling with a little bit of Spain's size. Claver missing the layup. Love out to Darren Williams, and now the pace picking up a little bit.
I think Kevin Love is so important for Team USA, especially with Chandler on the bench with 2 fouls.
Well, if there was ever an opportunity for Kevin Love to assert himself and earn a few more minutes, this would be the time. Kevin Love didn't get a lot of playing time in Turkey at the World Championships of basketball when they won the gold. Foul's going to go against Pau Gasol. That's his second.
Take a look. You see the numbers. And by the way, these numbers come from John Shulman of NBA.com. He calculated that when you don't have Chandler or Love on the floor, that teams have pretty much played Team USA even to this point. So I think it's important for Chandler and Love to really anchor the back of that defense. And Love can give you some offense as well from the perimeter.
Pau Gasol with a fadeaway, no good, rebounded by Durant. People talk about the USA's lack of size, but look at Durant on the floor playing forward. He's almost a legitimate 7 foot. LeBron off the mark.
I'm not sure they can pick that up, Mark.
It was tapped back.
Oh, okay, no possession. Seeing the red, the fans are because you can't really throw that should be a violation. Fans hooting and howling, you hear the whistling.
Durant with the crossover, took the hit and draws the foul. Foul's going to go against San Emeterio.
Durant drew the contact here. San Emeterio, another one of those guys. That looked like Victor Sada, actually. Victor Sada arguing his case.
Sending Kevin Durant to the foul line. Durant, in that great run at the World Championships of basketball a couple of years ago when USA took gold, had high games of 38 and 33 points. He's been the USA's leading scorer so far. He's coming off a big game against Argentina when he knocked down 27. United States, though, Fran, just 1 of 5 from the foul line tonight.
And they struggled against Argentina as well.
Durant knocks down the second of 2.
We haven't seen Calderon and Navarro for quite some time. Scariolo electing to go with Buell and Sada, 2 of his backups.
Here's Gasol on the block. Working against Chandler, draws the foul, and that's going to be the 3rd foul against Tyson Chandler.
This is one of those examples of what we talked about, because 5 fouls disqualifies you in FIBA play. Here's Chandler picking up his 3rd in the first half, so he's going to have to go to the bench. Spain recognized Chandler back in the game, Mark. They went right back inside to Gasol. So you're talking about good IQ basketball in that situation.
You see Mike Krzyzewski and LeBron James having a little chat with the official, perhaps asking for a clarification. Fran, I know it might be against the nature of the United States team, but what about to protect some of their bigs like Chandler? Does a zone come into effect at some point?
No, Jim Boeheim is the zone coach, but, I say that jokingly. He's been an assistant coach for Coach K for all 6 years of the national team, but I don't think they're going to play a lot of zone. I think if they can't guard Spain man-to-man, they're going to be in trouble when they get to London.
1-point ball game after the Carmelo Anthony 3. Carmelo single-handedly keeping the United States in the game. He's got 13. Durant fights over the screen. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Spain. San Emeterio turns it over. That's the 7th turnover by the Spaniards. Here's Kobe.
See, I'd love the ball in LeBron's hands, not necessarily to do that, but to make plays and get to the rim.
LeBron James knocks down the 3. I haven't seen a lot of LeBron post-ups so far on this pre-Olympic tour. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think the way they're constituted, they're playing 4 out around 1. And he's been, to me, Mark, the most effective player on Team USA's team in terms of having the ball in his hands and getting to the basket.
Foul against the United.
Virtually the whole team has played college basketball. Of course, Ike Diagu and Al-Farouq Aminu lead that team. And to get to the Olympics and qualify is huge, because Tunisia got the automatic spot based on winning the FIBA Africa tournament last year. pressure there by Carmelo.
That's how they turn up Spain and turn up the heat on them. That actually looked like it went off of Gasol, but it'll be Spain basketball. Kobe protesting that he didn't touch it. Kobe does speak a couple of different languages, Italian and Spanish, so he's got a good chance of communicating with those officials. 3 on the shot clock for Spain. Gasol fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. They bailed him out.
You can see that coming right there. You got to have some court awareness. Low clock. Usually teams will throw it to their big guy. Carmelo, as you mentioned, bailed out Pau Gasol.
Saw Calderon come back into the ball game, Fran, during that last break. What does that tell you about what Coach Scariolo is trying to do right now?
Well, I think what he did is he got Calderon a long rest at the end of the first quarter, early second. So he's likely ready to finish the half. And that's important because he's their primary ball handler.
Tied at 28 as we approach 6.5 minutes. Under 6.5 minutes to go here. Nice feed inside by LeBron to Carmelo Anthony for the layup. Good basketball that time.
Great set right there. Came off the ball screen. LeBron flashed. Carmelo rolled down the lane. Navarro was too preoccupied with Chris Paul in the pick and roll. See LeBron still guarding Gasol.
Tyson Chandler on the bench, and there you see the superior quickness of the United States with the steal, but a turnover.
Well, they call it travel, and Sergio Llull gave
Even he couldn't believe it.
He couldn't believe it either. I think they got Kevin Durant for traveling again, and Team USA is these guys are so accustomed in the NBA to getting out and running, quite frankly, without putting the ball on the ground right away. It's become a habit, and we've seen so far in FIBA play that they've made that call.
Calderon with the jumper over Chris Paul, took it right at him.
Tell you what, if Toronto doesn't want Jose Calderon, and I know you're familiar with the Raptors, you put him on a playoff team, man. And now he's not a great defender, but this guy is a very savvy player.
Kevin Durant with the miss, and Spain now with a chance to take the lead as we approach the midway point here of the second quarter. Gasol guarded by the shorter Carmelo Anthony, got a little one on him. They help out, but to no avail. Gasol still got a clean look at it. And here comes LeBron.
See how Spain is trying to navigate that mismatch inside.
Carmelo Anthony has it clicking on all cylinders right now. 18 points in the first half for Melo. He's 7 of 9 from the field. Remember, Carmelo started as a starter at the beginning of this tour. That's going to be a whistle and foul against the United States. Folks, don't forget Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, featuring the Los Angeles Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals, coming up Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. The Dodgers have won 5 consecutive games. Then one of the biggest rivalries in all of baseball, the Red Sox and Yankees. That's all you got to say. See how Ichiro does in his new uniform. United States forcing a shot deep in the shot clock. Durant with the nice Euro step.
Did they call another travel?
That looked pretty good to me, Fran. I'm not sure what the call was here. I will say this. We talked about this before. I'm not sure that some of the FIBA officials see the level of athleticism that you do in the NBA, and Durant's a long guy.
Yeah, the problem with FIBA, there's no question. The problem with FIBA basketball is players grow up in Europe catching and dribbling it immediately instead of taking that first or second step and then dribbling it. And these officials have been overly judicious today.
Serge Ibaka brings Spain to within 1. What Serge Ibaka has run his mouth a little bit, but he's backing it up with his play today in a big way. Chris Paul off the screen, and Chris Paul on the scoreboard again. He's got 5.
This is such a good test for Team USA. They're even getting a little bit frustrated with the physical.
That time Calderon turned it over. LeBron on the move and the layup. United States lethal in transition. That's where they can get you.
President Obama actually saw the dream team. Marc Gasol was 7 years old, so he was shooting his mouth off, and he's not playing today. Looks like he's going to stay out with that injured shoulder. Coach Scariolo going to rest him for London. Hey, think about Marc and Pau Gasol and the difficulty they're going to create for teams in the Olympics, particularly Team USA, who's already having some trouble with Pau Gasol.
Not having trouble creating turnovers. They get another one there. Carmelo inside, missing the layup. Couldn't finish off the nice Kobe feed. Foul is going to go against Calderon.
This is the kind of pressure you see. It ends with a transition opportunity for Carmelo Anthony, but the pressure on the perimeter is something Team USA's coaching staff talked about today. When you pressure the ball on the perimeter, Mark, you make it difficult to look inside, and they have certainly capitalized on some transition opportunities.
Friend, it's a part of the game that isn't really statistical, so in that sense, people overlook it, right? I mean, good ball pressure?
Well, I always said the first post defender is the man pressuring the ball.
Carmelo Anthony single-handedly keeping the United States in the ball game. But they don't keep a lot of empirical numbers on ball pressures and stuff like that. And, you know, offense is sexy, and everyone sees that, right?
Well, if you're going to guard Pau Gasol with a smaller lineup, it's got to start on the perimeter first. And they've done a pretty good job of that in this first half.
United States with its biggest lead of the ball game at 7. 3:20 to go here in the first half. Both teams coming in at 4-0, actually undefeated. Spain at 7-0 in their pre-Olympic schedule. Calderon, bad pass, turned it over as Ibaka couldn't find the handle. That's the 11th turnover. LeBron on the move. Nice kick out. Great ball movement, and Carmelo cashes in.
That's to me, LeBron is the facilitator. Get the ball in his hands, let him attack the lane. If it's not there, kick it out. Now when you're shooting jumpers, you're getting open looks rather than contested looks.
That's the 5th 3 of the ball game for Carmelo Anthony, so he comes out as hot as Kevin Durant did a couple of games ago, shooting threes.
Talking about some of the best shooters in the NBA, and Durant and Anthony, but you want those guys to get clean looks and not contested looks.
J.C. Navarro at the foul line for Spain. He was fouled on that last play. Let's look at Calderon. There was a lot of talk that the Raptors might amnesty him, but haven't done so to this point. But you mentioned, Fran, he's a great floor leader for the Raptors.
Guy averaged 9 assists a game on a bad team. And that's not easy to do.
Here's Darren Williams. Durant from downtown. Durant having a tough time, but Kobe inside. LeBron took the hit.
See, if you're LeBron, you got to go right through Ibaka's body. No reason to double pump.
You might get an easy one here. Feeds it to Kobe for the easy layup. And the United States leading by 11.
And right now, Team USA cranking up that perimeter pressure defense. You're talking about guys that have been first-team All-NBA defensively. Guys like Kobe and LeBron.
Calderon being dogged on defense. Ibaka with a nice jump hook inside. That puts an end to the 11-1 USA run. Ibaka with a huge first half, meanwhile, for Spain. He's got 16.
What you love about him, I remember seeing him as an 18-year-old at the Euro camp, is that he's expanding his game. Not a bad outside shooter, can play pick and pop. Certainly a defensive presence.
Kobe on the post up, gets the slam to go. That looked like the number 8 Kobe Bryant, not the number 24.
Now, what you love about that is he went right at the rim, no double pumping, take it through the defender, and use your ability to elevate.
United States with an 11-point lead.
Who said he's old?
I didn't. Calderon up court. Navarro's been kind of quiet in this game. Right now being covered by Westbrook, Fran, as Calderon forced to jack a bad shot. Back comes the United States in transition. That's going to be a goaltend call against Ibaka.
And the reason that, you know about that FIBA rule on goaltending, if the ball is on the cylinder or above, you can knock it off, but you can't block it off the backboard. Take a look. Ball hits the board, it never gets to the cylinder. And that's the 3rd time Ibaka has done that today, giving Team USA some easy opportunities.
And don't forget, coming up at the half, it's the USA Basketball Halftime Report by State Farm. First half analysis and the latest news on Dwight Howard, still to this second, as we know, a member of the Orlando Magic. And a lot of talk about him starting the season that way. Rudy Fernandez, meanwhile, with his first three ball after several misses.
That was just a breakdown by Kevin Durant. He was leaking out, trying to get out in transition, and Rudy cleaned up the mess, knocked down the shot.
Here's Carmelo. 6 on the shot clock, has to jack one. That's one of his few misses here in the first half. Navarro missing, gets it back. Wild shot, whistle and a foul as Felipe Reyes goes to the court.
It's been a physical first half and inconsistent officiating, in my opinion. Guys are throwing their bodies around. You see Russell Westbrook with a piece right there, the body, but this is good for Team USA because the officiating will be uneven when they get to London. Pool A, Lithuania very fortunate that they're in Pool A because they will not see Team USA in the medal round until deep into the medal round, likely not until the final if they're lucky to get there. I don't think they will. They're in a rebuilding mode. They've got some older players. Linus Jasikevic is still on the roster. They're led by Linus Glazer, the Raptors.
Felipe Reyes knocks down the foul shot for Spain.
And this is a guy, Mark, that's been MVP of the ACB, the Spanish league. Very accomplished player. He doesn't have as big a role with Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka coming on. Remember Jorge Garbajosa?
Yes.
The terrific member of this national team for a long time, and he was their stretch four-man. And now with the two big guys, Ibaka and Gasol, Spain has adjusted their offense over the last couple of years, more conventional like an NBA team. Little zone now by Spain. I think they're going to switch and go man.
First time we've seen this. Out of bounds, it'll be Spain basketball. Calderon double team. Knocked away from Ibaka, and that's going to end the first half of play. Don't forget, USA Basketball Halftime Report presented by State Farm. That's coming up next as Kobe Bryant and the USA men's national team.
For Spain, Team USA forcing 22 a game. Took advantage of them, got some easy baskets in transition.
Time now for our Get to a Better State, brought to you by State Farm. Look at some of the highlights.
Yeah, for Spain, Mark, it was all about ball movement early. Take a look at here, right? This ball gets swung. Everybody gets a piece of that ball. Victor Sada ends up with a three in the deep corner. But then Team USA started to assert himself, particularly this guy, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony with 5 threes in the first half. He really put it on Spain for a while. He had 23 points in the first half. The rest of the team had 25. As United States getting bailed out by Carmelo. A good thing or bad thing, Fran?
Oh, it's a good thing because they have a lot of weapons. We've seen Durant and LeBron James each be the alpha male, if you will, offensively from game to game. But this guy, since he really became a big part of Team USA back in 2006. Now, we know he played on the 2014, but he didn't play much. But he's been a very good player for Team USA since 2006.
And we are underway here in the third quarter. LeBron James, meanwhile, kind of conspicuous by his silence at the offensive end. Just 7 points in the first half. The United States with those active hands. That time it was LeBron on defense. Although, friend, he did have 6 assists.
Oh, yeah. No, he's the facilitator, Mark. In fact, you really don't need a point guard when LeBron's out there. It's almost criminal not to have the ball in his hands. Hey, by the way, no Tyson Chandler to start the third quarter. He's got 3 fouls.
LeBron guarding Pau Gasol. Gasol shot it right over the top of him. And the lead is down to 6.
LeBron did a good job in the first half of fronting Gasol, but that time he got himself established too deep in the lane.
Here's Durant. Back to LeBron. Good ball movement, and Durant knocks down a 3, so they traded 2 for a 3 to lead back up to 9.
with LeBron having the ball in his hand so much, where Chris Paul can be a factor, is on the defensive end trying to wear down Jose Calderon.
Navarro with the kick out to Rudy. That's going to be a foul against Kobe Bryant. Rudy Fernandez had an outstanding game against the United States in the final in '08, Fran. He had a highlight reel of tapes.
Oh, he sure did. 22 points, and again, that monster dunk over Dwight Howard. In fact, there's 4 members of this team that played prominent roles: the 2 Gasols, Navarro, and certainly for Rudy Fernandez.
There's that USA quickness in effect again, and at the other end, Durant finishes lethal once again in transition.
I think it's really important, Mark, that Team USA comes out and establishes a defensive identity early in this third quarter.
There, Calderon turns it over. Calderon's struggling a little bit, it looked like, in the last couple of possessions, turning it over, and that's going to be an offensive foul on LeBron. Your thoughts on that, Fran? That's his third.
That's a bang-bang play, Mark. I thought you had to give the offensive player a step, and I don't think he's got a step there. I think that's a bad call.
Have to agree with that one.
Take a look. I mean, there's no way Rudy Fernandez gives LeBron the opportunity to get out of the way and avoid contact, and that's LeBron's third.
So much like the final in 2008, LeBron James hampered by some foul trouble against Spain. Spain's turned it over in a couple of possessions here in the second half. 14 times already in the game. Navarro with the floater. He's got one of the best ones in basketball. In Memphis, they used to call that instant grits.
And in Spain, they call it La Bamba.
The lead is down to 9. Chris Paul up court for the United States. USA looking to go 5-0 on its pre-Olympic tour. Another triple handoff by LeBron. Gets it back. Good ball movement, and that time, no doubt about the finish.
Well, they've gone two-man game with Durant and LeBron twice so far. Been effective both times. You see little pick and roll and the confusion by Ibaka and Fernandez.
USA 3 for 3 from the field here in the second half. Saul guarded by the shorter Carmelo Anthony. That's going to be a foul against Carmelo. That's the second on him. You saw Pau Gasol and Chris Paul have a little moment there. Those two had a little altercation going back to a Clippers and Lakers game earlier this year. Chris Paul didn't like the fact that Pau actually patted him on the head. Said, "I got kids and I'm not one of his." Pau meant no offense by it. And Calderon sneaks in there for the bucket.
That time LeBron James had to be so preoccupied with Pau Gasol that he couldn't help on the baseline. And Chris Paul was not able to seal off that baseline. Calderon got the easy shot.
Carmelo steps into a 3. Maybe waited a little bit too long. LeBron underneath. United States making the extra pass, and Durant cashes in. Lead up to 12.
If you're Spain right now, LeBron's got 3. I'm surprised they haven't tried to go into Gasol.
Kobe Bryant just dogging Navarro. Good pass, and Ibaka lost the handle out of bounds. USA basketball with 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Durant already with 8 points in the third quarter. Kobe backing down the shorter Navarro. That's going to be a foul against Rudy Fernandez as Durant put it on the deck. So the United States, Fran, why do they look a lot better here in the third quarter?
The ball movement's been very, very good. And if you think about it, Kobe Bryant's been more of a playmaker, if you will. And that time he gave up the turnaround jump shot to continue to move the ball. He's actually done that a lot in this exhibition tour. But you've got a feeling that the Black Mamba, when it counts, certainly knows how to take over a game, whether it's a FIBA game or an NBA game.
And Nate McMillan, assistant coach on USA team, told me that Kobe rises to the occasion like nobody else on that team. Here's a mismatch now. Paul blows by Gasol. Missed the shot but got it back. And Durant off the nice feed. United States now leading by 14.
Right now they've broken down Spain's half-court defense and they're starting to get really easy looks. That's got to concern Coach Scariolo.
Gasol fouled underneath by Durant. Good look inside. That's going to be the second foul against KD.
See again, Pau Gasol getting to the rim. Remember, no Marc Gasol today. Coach Scariolo electing to rest that injured, sore left shoulder, Mark. But you know we're going to see him in London. You know we're going to see the two brothers together at the same time.
Got a real potential problem for the United States should they meet in the final. Powell missing the first.
We got the chance to see Team USA in training camp, so we saw the early part. We haven't seen the team as much in practice, but I'm surprised Kevin Love's not getting the opportunity to help inside. You're looking at a guy that averaged 25 and 13 this year.
Is it of his own doing right now, Fran? I mean, has he gotten the opportunity?
I just think that Coach K's set on an 8-man rotation, and that's the way he's going to go. We haven't seen James Harden today.
Little zone look here by Spain. Chris Paul kicks it out to Durant. United States passing almost to a fault. One pass too many. LeBron looking at Durant saying, man, put it up. You put it up against me in the finals.
Yeah, put it up and I'll go get the rebound. It's interesting. They've gotten all those great looks against man-to-man from behind the arc, and now Spain goes zone and they passed up those open looks.
Barrow runs off the baseline screen. Good defense as Westbrook shot the gap going over the top. 13-point lead for the United States. Under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Mark Jones along with Fran Fraschilla. United States in its final Olympic tune-up against Spain, also doing its final game. And LeBron James on the slam dunk.
And give Chris Paul some credit for that. Good pressure on Calderon. We talked about being that big part of the game plan. Turning it into easy.
Conquered the basketball universe, and it set off an explosion in the popularity of global basketball to the point where now in the NBA it's almost at 20% the number of international players, and the league is better off for it.
Guys like Pau Gasol, Dirk Nowitzki have credited that dream team with inspiring them to play the game of basketball. They were youngsters back in 1992, and certainly we see so many great international players now in the NBA.
Pau was almost off to med school. Still plans on it after his basketball career, he tells me.
He can buy a medical school.
Off the lob. Tyson Chandler came back into the ball game during the break, and that's going to be a foul against Russell Westbrook.
That's one of those plays where Kevin Durant, Chandler, everybody was just watching the basketball. Take a look. Everybody's kind of frozen. You see Chandler and Durant didn't react. Russell Westbrook picks up the foul.
Serge Ibaka going to the free throw line, and Kevin Love coming back into the game. Friend, we talked about it during the break a little bit. At some point, you think they're going to need Kevin Love to play a big game?
Well, I believe so. You know, I believe he's tailor-made for international basketball. He stretches your defense with the ability to shoot the three. He's a good rebounder. You know, at times he'll be undersized against guys like the Gasols, but overall he's physical enough to hold his own with most of the big men in in the Olympic tournament.
United States outscored by a point in 58 minutes without Chandler, Love, or Davis on the floor. That's in the first 4 games. Right now holding a 15-point lead. Serge Ibaka got off to a great start, missing both free throws though.
And there's another example of Team USA just standing around watching the paint dry, and Rudy Fernandez just came in and took that ball away from Kevin Durant.
That's the 3rd personal foul against KD.
You know, as a coach, that's an era of omission right there by Kevin Durant. He's just watching, didn't block out, and Rudy makes a hustle play.
Fernandez at the free throw line. Currently, Brand, you mentioned he signed with Real Madrid for 3 years. He played for the Portland Trail Blazers and spent some time with the Denver Nuggets. Missed that one. Coming off of back surgery. He's still not quite 100% yet, though, right?
Well, he's had his moments in exhibition games where he's played really well, but you don't expect him to be 100% after surgery.
Russell Westbrook knocks down the jumper against the zone defense.
Interesting here, Mark. Love and Chandler playing together. Let's see if, that's a good matchup for Gasol and Ibaka. See how they play that. They switch inside. Now Love's on Gasol.
They dig and double team on Gasol. Nice kick out to Rudy for 3. Fernandez sees it goes halfway down and out.
One of the rare times you'll see Coach K play Love and Chandler together. Chandler's got to be careful right there.
That might be a foul against the United States. A lot of contact.
I think he got Ibaka on that wrestling match. You'll see Watch Chandler and Ibaka now. They tie up. And you know what?
That looked like Greco-Roman wrestling in the Olympics.
Yeah. And, I mean, both guys are wrestling. I don't know how you can call a foul on either player on that, or a double foul. But Ibaka just got tangled up with the big fella.
They screen the zone. Russell Westbrook knocks down another one. And the lead now, and the foul, as Russell Westbrook makes it an 18-point USA lead.
Well, he's your energizer, Bunny. You remember some of the people on Team USA have compared him to Dwayne Wade. Back in 2008, we saw what Carmelo did early in this game. Kevin Durant got out to the great start at the beginning of the third quarter. And now you've got the energizer, Bunny, and Russell Westbrook coming off the bench.
Russell Westbrook knocks down the shot to complete the three-point play. Friend, Chris Paul's pressure has gotten to Calderon here in the second half, and Westbrook.
Yep, sure has. And Russell Westbrook turned it into two more. Well, you're absolutely right, Mark. I talked to Chris Collins, one of the assistant coaches, this morning, and he said their game plan was try to get after Calderon, and they have done a good job of that.
Is it a situation where just over time it wears him down?
Well, I think so, because he's really the one pure point guard in that Spanish backcourt. I don't see how that's a foul. I mean, I don't see how that is a foul, and that's his fourth.
After all the contact.
That's what I mean. I mean, listen, they've been inconsistent both ways, unless they got that left arm for reaching in. But this is good for Team USA, because we've said this so many times. You got uneven officiating that's going to happen in London, so you might as well get used to it during the friendly matches.
Look at the foul trouble situation on behalf of the United States. Chandler with 4. Bryant, Durant, and LeBron with 3.
What's that remind you of right there?
Like the Olympic final.
Exactly right.
They were able to pull it out. Finally winning by 11 points. Spain, by the way, Fran, the only team ever to score over 100 against the USA. Last time Spain defeated the United States, you'd have to go all the way back to 2002 at the World Championships in Indianapolis. You know, one of the best international games, as Gasol misses the second, was Stephon Marbury's against Spain in the '04 Olympics, a game that really went unnoticed and under the radar because the whole team seemingly in disarray at the time. Iguodala missing everything from downtown, out of bounds. It'll be USA basketball.
Kevin Love's going to get an opportunity here to likely guard Pau Gasol a little bit. Good opportunity for Love to try to establish himself. You see the 2-3 zone by Spain.
Russell Westbrook has been hot. Misses that look.
That's too quick a shot. Move the ball versus the zone. We talked about getting that ball to the middle of the lane.
United States with active hands defensively. Reyes kicks it back out. And another deflection. Gasol left alone at the rim. Fouled and won. Almost as an afterthought.
Well, exactly. That was a bad break for Team USA. Ball was loose. Gasol came up with it. Didn't realize, watch this, he doesn't realize there's nobody behind him. Turns, Love fouls him, and Gasol finishes at the rim. Team USA's defense in the last 2 possessions has been non-existent.
Well, the lead up to 18 points. They led by 7 at the break. Gasol knocking down the free throw. A lot of trade speculation about Pau Gasol, but he has remained the consummate professional.
You know, I think it's interesting. Mike Brown, the coach of the Lakers, will really have to adjust and figure out how to play Steve Nash with Kobe and Gasol and Andrew Bynum, because Steve Nash is the ultimate spread pick and roll guy.
There's Rudy on the drive, had it knocked away out of bounds. That'll be USA basketball. Kevin Love, the double-double machine from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
He's a guy that was 6th in the MVP voting this year on a very poor Minnesota Timberwolves team, so you know what people think about him around the league.
Recently asked him about the additions that they've made in Minnesota and Minneapolis with the T-Wolves. Alexei Shved, the Russian shooter, part of the roster now. They tried to get Batum, but the offer sheet matched by the Portland Trail Blazers.
And Brandon Roy, who signed a 2-year deal.
17-point lead for the United States here in the third quarter as we approach 2.5 minutes to go in the period. Reyes locked up and fouled by Carmelo Anthony.
You think of Carmelo Anthony as he picks up his third mark. You think of him as a fairly physical guy at that small forward spot. But playing power forward versus Reyes, watch how Reyes just toys with him. He just toys with him in the lane, uses that big body.
And Carmelo, like so many other United States players, throwing their arms in the air.
You know what's important there? For a long time, Team USA really had trouble adjusting to the whole concept of FIBA basketball. But you don't want to show your emotion right there, because you and I both know that the officiating will be at times strange, and you must play through it with a smile on your face.
Kill him with kindness?
Kill him with kindness.
Ran for Shill away.
Yeah.
16-point lead after Reyes' free throw.
Most of the time, but keep your
elbows
sharp as well now. There you see the zone. They haven't had good ball movement versus the zone.
Here's Love. Westbrook out top. 10 on the shot clock. Plenty of time.
Yeah, but too much dribbling versus that zone right now.
Foul against Yul.
Remember, we saw versus Argentina and Brazil how much success Team USA had getting the ball deep in that zone, playing from inside out, as opposed to the isolation game of a guy like Russell Westbrook here.
Working against the zone. Iguodala on the wing.
Good cut.
Iguodala picks it back out. 4 on the shot clock. Time to get to work. Westbrook gets the jack up. Kept alive by Iguodala. Iguodala, the guy that does a lot of the dirty work for this USA team. Nice movement without the ball. Carmelo with the rebound. Muscles it up and in. Carmelo Anthony putting some muscle in his hustle.
Well, give Andre Iguodala a lot of credit for keeping that ball alive.
And Fernandez quickly in transition at the other end.
That's a sloppy play right there. Team USA is playing against the zone. Just run your stuff.
1:34 to go here in the third quarter. Out of bounds off of the United States. 16-point advantage. Krzyzewski took over. United States is 53-1. And the only loss going against Greece in the 2006 World Championships of basketball over in Japan. That's going to be a whistle and a foul against the United States. It's against James Harden of the Thunder, who's checked into the ball game.
You know what's really interesting about FIBA basketball is coaches are so good at figuring out when their team is close to that 5th foul, which would put the opponent in the bonus. And they really try to pick up that 5th foul of the quarter so they can get to the foul line and get those easy free throws.
The lead is down to 14. It's a 7-point game at the break. 1.5 to go. Spain still in that zone. James Harden, friend, a guy you'd think would fit into the situation coming off the bench, right?
Well, especially against a zone, but not if you're going to dribble the ball like Russell Westbrook's doing 30 feet away from the floor. And very few people touch the ball in that zone possession, and leads to another sloppy play.
They had seemed to have a lot of success against that zone a little bit earlier, but that was their 13th turnover.
Remember how good LeBron's been versus the zone so far in this 5-game exhibition tour.
Spain in the middle of a 9-2 run, down by just 14. Nice feed to Reyes inside. The lead is down to just 12.
Right now, you don't have the level of defensive play on the perimeter out of this group of Team USA players that you had earlier in this quarter.
Inside to Kevin Love. Had it knocked away. Looks for the foul. Won't get it. And back comes Rudy. And he gives it right back. Harden on the move. And Harden fouled by Yul.
Kevin Love did a good job of coming back after losing that ball. You saw the outlet, and then James Harden very good in transition. And Yul reaches in, takes away the short two, will make James Harden try to make two at the foul line.
Harden, the NBA's reigning 6th man of the year. Used to that roll off the bench, and might have one of the best Euro steps in all of basketball.
Yep.
It's in Europe, so it's a good time to use it.
Good time to use it. Speaking of James Harden, Arizona State will be represented by 3 former Sun Devil players: Ike Diagu of Nigeria, Eric Boateng of Great Britain, and James Harden, who secured that 12th spot on Coach K's roster.
And on that play, Fran, you saw Carmelo Anthony tip in the ball while it was still in the cylinder. That's one of the differences in FIBA.
He gets 2 points then.
Lead is up to 15. He's got 27 points. And a foul against Russell Westbrook, his second.
Well, the interesting thing today, there's been a lot of contact both ways, and they've let you bang at times, and then there's a, what Bill Raftery would say, a nickel dimer. And again, it's just the adjustment of playing through some of the uneven officiating at times. I think they've been uneven both ways.
The one guy that we haven't seen for the United States in this game, Anthony Davis, who just today officially signed his contract with the New Orleans Hornets, the first pick in the NBA draft, player of the year in college. What does it say about Coach K's strategy, if anything, that we haven't seen him?
He's the 12th man.
Okay.
And he's the Christian Laettner of this team. And Coach K made it clear that he would only play in meaningful games.
Wow, Russell Westbrook just missing.
And good hustle by Westbrook.
Boy, he covers the entire court. Knocked it away. Great defensive play. Yeah, sizzling first half, and cooling off. And I say cooling off just a little bit here in the third quarter. But the USA outscoring Spain by 23 in the last 22 minutes. Back for the start of the fourth quarter. LeBron James back in the ball game, along with Kobe Bryant and Kevin Durant.
This team played very good pressure defense to start the third quarter. I love the ball in LeBron's hands.
6 on the shot clock for Chris Paul. Time to get busy with it. Paul with a tough jumper. Rebounded by Spain.
Team USA, Mark, does not mind switching out on the perimeter.
That's a foul against Carmelo Anthony. That's his 4th personal foul with 9:22. Remember, in FIBA basketball, on your 5th foul, you're disqualified.
Carmelo's been so good offensively today, but if there's a weak link when you switch on to a quicker player, Carmelo's going to have trouble keeping that offensive player in front. You saw Spain went right at Carmelo once Yule had the ball.
Sergio Yule going to the foul line, trying to make it a 12-point game. Friend, we saw the United States against Argentina a couple of nights ago fritter away a 20-point advantage, and this one has been whittled down to 14.
Well, Spain certainly is trying to win the game, but I think back to 2008 when they pretty much threw the preliminary game. They were actually pressing Team USA.
When they lost by 37?
The game they lost by 37, and Coach Aieto, the great Spanish coach, said later, he goes, we didn't think we could beat them twice. He told friends of mine that, and I think Spain today has certainly tried to win this game, but I wouldn't necessarily think they've thrown the kitchen sink at Team USA. I think Marc Gasol would play if this were a medal game.
LeBron with the turnaround. Not a fan of that strategy where you just defer and say we're not going to beat them twice.
Well,
I know it's the way of thinking over there.
It's you know what? The European coaches, they think tactically and strategically, Mark.
In the immortal words of Herm Edwards, you play.
I know. Yeah, but what about NFL teams during the exhibition season?
True.
No?
True.
That last preseason game, you think they're playing to win?
Good point. Tyson Chandler back in the ball game with the foul trouble. LeBron in the corner throws it up for him, and that's the way you do the alley-oop.
Spain's defensive rotations today have not been great. Pick and roll particularly is something that gives Spain's bigs trouble.
That's going to be another foul on Tyson Chandler. That's his 5th, and not a good foul to give 38 feet from the basket.
No, I totally agree with you. Tyson Chandler, I'm not sure how he's played more than 15 minutes in this game.
Been a frustrating night for him.
Played 7 minutes. Watch him jump out here on Yule. Yule's smart. Guards that are very good in pick and roll, when they see a big showing like that, they run right for the body. If your feet aren't set, you're going to pick up the easy call. It's a block, and Kevin Love will get a chance now to get some quality minutes.
Well, if there was ever an opportunity for Kevin Love at the Timberwolves to make a contribution and solidify himself as part of the rotation, this is it. Three-pointer way off the mark, rebounded by Spain, and the putback good. That's Felipe Reyes on the stick back. It's a 13-point game. Kobe working against Yule. Kobe on the blow-by, took the foul, and will go to the free throw line for a pair. You know, Pau Gasol had an interesting comment as to whether they would be trying to win this game or not. He said, you know what, maybe I'll let Kobe win this one because I know he's going to try and win. Exactly. And we'll win in London.
No, that's the key, Mark. And you know, it's funny. I talked to some of my European coaching friends, and they want to know why Coach K and Team USA count all of the exhibition wins as part of his record. He's 54-1 now since he took over in 2006. And I've said to them, because when USA loses, it's a very big deal. And
great point, friend.
You know, it's a big deal. So
it's a double standard of sorts, isn't it?
Yeah, even though, you know, you're talking about the best players in the world, and at times we've seen Team USA treat this tour like it's the NBA preseason. But on the other hand, if they lose a game to Spain or Argentina, it becomes, at least in the basketball world, worldwide news.
Boy, I remember Argentina defeating the United States in 2002. They danced up a storm like it was Soul Train at midcourt.
Well, but see, that game meant something because it was in the World Championships.
15-point game. Reyes on the block working against Love. Good ball fake. Jumper comes up way short. And a fantastic outlet by Kevin Love. Corralled by LeBron. Fantastic ball movement, but maybe one pass too many by Kobe. He could have shot that one.
Oh, God, I mean, there's something there. Chris Paul tried to foul the ball handler at midcourt. Kevin Love steps in the way. He's debating with the official right now.
13-point game, approaching 6.5 minutes to go. Haven't seen much of Jose Calderon here in the fourth quarter.
We haven't seen Powell very much. Navarro.
Kobe Bryant spins on Yule. Underneath to LeBron, and LeBron with the split leg globetrotter layup. 15-point lead again for the United States. LeBron James now with 15 points, the reigning NBA Finals MVP.
Kobe's done a really good job of just deferring. You know he's going to be able to make baskets when he needs to.
Floater a little bit short. And the USA on the run. Showtime for LeBron. And timeout called
that travel.
Yeah. He's got the mouth guard.
.com to learn more.
Some of the beautiful sights around the city of Barcelona. And welcome back to the USA Men's National Team, presented by Nike Plus. United States with the double-digit lead, 84-67.
Scariolo's got Pau Gasol back in the lineup.
That jumper way off the mark by Victor Claver. What does that tell you that he's trying to do at this point with Pau back in? Anything in particular?
No, not really. Just want to make sure, you know, he still wants to obviously keep this game close, try to get back into it if he can. Navarro, as you know, has been nursing plantar fasciitis all season, and Rudy Fernandez has had the back surgery, and no Marc Gasol today because of the shoulder.
That ball tipped up by Love, and Russell Westbrook missed the tip. Kevin Love missed it. Westbrook got it. Love got it. United States with a series, and a great move by Love on the baseline.
Well, he got mauled 3 times right there, but he stayed with it, and a good job by Kevin Love.
A 6-0 USA run makes it a 19-point advantage.
We haven't seen Team USA do any double teaming of Pau Gasol today, Mark.
That time had his way with Kevin Love on the block.
One-on-one, obviously he's a tough matchup for Kevin Love or Tyson Chandler. Team USA, I have a feeling, will treat Gasol a little bit differently in London, but you'll also have the added complication of defending Marc Gasol as well.
Pau Gasol at the foul line, Franny. He is going to be carrying the flag. He is the flag bearer for Spain during the opening ceremonies, and Pau has said that he's flattered and honored to do so.
I'll tell you what, he's been maligned in LA this year, I think unfairly. I expect him to have a big year, especially with Steve Nash joining the Lakers.
LeBron, meanwhile, makes it a 20-point game on the 3-ball. LeBron now hitting the 20-point mark. LeBron James, friend, on course to become USA Basketball's leading scorer in the Olympics, if things go according to script.
Oh, this is the 54th time he's represented Team USA, worn that uniform.
Gasol with a nice jump shot. And Pau now has 20.
Remember, it was Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James on that 2004 debacle in Athens. You got to give credit to Carmelo and LeBron. They continue to represent Team USA.
A lot of guys wouldn't want to come back and play, and LeBron, with a spirited and accurate display of shooting here, makes it a 21-point advantage. Gasol working against Love. A whistle and a foul against Kevin Love. He can't figure it out yet on the block. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule for the United States. They'll play France first. France lost twice to this Spaniard team in exhibition games: Tunisia, Nigeria, Lithuania, and Argentina. Tony Parker will be playing for France. He's playing with protective glasses after that. He was caught in the crossfire of a nightclub incident. A couple of rival crews. Look at Boulay play.
We haven't seen much of this guy, Navarro, and right on cue knocks down the 3. It's a guy that really struggled through this last season with injuries. I mentioned plantar fasciitis. He actually missed a couple of ACB playoff games late in the year. Banged up all season long.
LeBron James on the drive. LeBron almost had the N1. Anthony Davis, meanwhile, has checked into the ball game for the United States.
He's a little richer today than he was when we saw him play in the last game. Signed that 3-year deal. You see LeBron, that's a mismatch with Pau trying to guard him out top. But hopefully Anthony will take his teammates out tonight on La Ramblas and get some tapas. You know, you don't go out to eat in Spain until about 11 o'clock at night. It's already.
That's the way it goes, right?
Yep.
Getting about to be that time. And Anthony Davis, after signing his contract today, he has that stuff in his pockets that folds instead of goes jingle jangle, you know?
Yep, he can do some shopping on the Passeig de Gracia, the 5th Avenue of Barcelona.
The lifestyle in Barcelona is amazing. Love those afternoon siestas, Frank.
Well, it's one of the beautiful cities in the world, Mark.
Double team on Yule. LeBron comes up with a pinch. Durant tips it away. Out of bounds. And it's USA Basketball with time winding down here. Barcelona, let's take a look at the Cisco assist of the night.
Well, one thing about Team USA throughout this 5-game exhibition tour, they have generally played very unselfish basketball, making sure they find the open man or the hot hand. And that time, Chris Paul with the delivery to Kevin Durant.
United States with a big lead here, friend. We have not seen Marc Gasol tonight. We mentioned that he was nursing that sore shoulder. He sat out a couple of these exhibition games. If you're a Spanish basketball fan, do you take comfort in the fact that he didn't play tonight?
Well, it changes the dynamic a little bit, Mark, but you know what? At the same time, it's almost, you don't know the advantage which way it'll go because it makes them slower and bigger versus this quickness of Team USA. So I would equate it to a team with 2 great all-pro tight ends. You got to play them both, so there's less you can do in your passing game. That make sense?
Yes, and that made sense too. A great block by Anthony Davis. Player of the year in college basketball.
he's so happy about that 3-year deal he signed today.
Hey, for him, it's like Chevy Chase, European vacation.
Yeah, he's hanging out with the best players in the world, and soon to hopefully be one. And certainly this experience in 2012 will propel him to 2014. By the way, the World Championships will be in Spain in 2014. Hopefully you and I will be a part of it.
It'd be wonderful if we could make the trip. One of the great cities around the world. I've certainly had a great time, and anytime I've been to Barcelona. Gasol with the left-handed jump hook, no good. Serge Ibaka's been kind of quiet since his sizzling start.
He got a lot of easy baskets off of Team USA defensive breakdowns, and they've shored that up. In fact, their half-court defense has been very good in the second half.
Nice inside-out movement. Three-pointer off the mark by Darren Williams.
That's exactly what we talked about. You never mind that jump shot when it flows from inside out. Sucks that defense in.
Approaching 2 minutes to go. Tipped out of bounds. It'll be United States basketball. USA, barring a miraculous comeback here, will end up their tour a perfect 5-0.
Remember, Jerry Colangelo said in Vegas to us he'd rather be fast than big. And when Marc Gasol comes back, and if these two teams meet, it'll certainly be contrasting styles once again. But Team USA has sent a nice message today. I think that that they were ready to play for the most part, but their defense was very good. And
better game than the Argentina game?
There's no question. They were more focused. The crowd was more into it. Everybody knew what was at stake, and obviously you got some great matchups. Kobe and Pau Gasol, the teammates, guys like Navarro and Gasol brothers from Barcelona wanted to play well.
So the crowd probably and understandably a little bit disappointed in the soon-to-be outcome of this one. Navarro makes the first of 2 free throws.
Mark, you know this. Team USA would win a 7-game series against Spain. I don't think there's any argument there. But it still gets back in one game in London with foul trouble, inconsistent shooting, and the potential for the size mismatch that can send them home with a silver medal.
Remember, this is a team that at times tonight against the likes of a Long Gasol has missed the likes of Dwight Howard and Chris Bosh, who played pivotal roles in that 08 victory. Davis couldn't get the tip to go off the alley-oop. Spain back the other way. There's the lob and a nice throwdown.
Victor Couvert, 2009, he was first-round pick of the Blazers. He'll join them this year. He's still going to be a role player, needs to put some strength on, but he's one of those stretch 4 men that can keep people honest on the LaMarcus Aldridge this year in the paint.
James Harden on the scoreboard for the first time. Paul Allen, the owner of the Blazers, said to be in the building tonight watching Clever play. Under a minute to go. United States pretty good from downtown, friend. 12 of 22.
There's no question they have guys that can shoot it.
That outside jumper no good. Darren Williams wrests it away from Serge Ibaka.
But even 350 hitters go 0 for 4 some nights, you know what I mean?
And now it's 13 of 23 from downtown. And the largest lead of the night at 100-78. So the United States has this one cooked, glazed, and just about sliced. They're going to defeat Spain and move on to the Olympics against France. "20 years from the original Dream Team, this year's edition of Team USA defeating Spain in Barcelona on the same streets, on the same ground. Final score 100-78. Grand final thought.
Well, I thought their defensive pressure was very, very good, especially the last 3 quarters. They shoot the ball well from outside when they move it, and you're talking about 2 or 3 of the best players in the world who stepped up tonight and played very well for Team USA.